Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf on the how-to video series. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what is the best motorcycle helmet to have. Catch you inside. RevelatorAlf. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf on the how-to video series. Hope you're enjoying them. Please subscribe by hitting the logo down there and the notifications bell, and so you get all the latest videos. So in this video, I'm talking about what is the best motorcycle helmet to have. Now, I've been riding them for many years. So I've also been involved in the emergency services for many years and attended, hundreds, well over 1,000 motorcycle accidents in that time. And I've even ran motorcycle safety campaigns in the past as well. So really look at the effectiveness of helmets, how they work, how they don't work. So now this is not really a video on should you wear a motorcycle helmet. That's a totally different subject, and I'm kind of quite liberal on that idea, but I'm talking about the actual safety side of a helmet. So, okay, which is going to be the safest, which is going to be the best? Actually, those are two separate questions. Okay, so safety and best is not necessarily mean the same, because best can mean, well, best at what? Best at comfort, best at blocking out sound, blocking out wind noise, best at what? Best at making moto vlogs, so it's a very broad subject. But safety, what is a safety helmet? Well, I think the first thing you've got to do is look at where are you buying your helmet from. Okay, so number one, okay, I would not necessarily buy a helmet that is secondhand off anybody, especially one that has been used and has been dropped, and it's got marks all over the place, because within time, as a helmet gets older, it's going to lose its sort of structure and integrity a little bit, or its optimum structure and integrity, especially it's been dropped and so on and so forth. So you kind of want to stay away from that. Now, I'm not saying they're not perfectly good helmets. In fact, I've had helmets, given to me that were hardly worn. I think, yeah, I'll have those. That's fine, they're absolutely fine. But you know what I'm trying to say. If a helmet looks dodgy and it's really cheap or whatever, just stay away from it. If you're looking for something to protect your head, stay away from the cheap stuff. Okay, so the other thing then is, well, where should you buy a helmet from? Well, again, should you buy it online? Should you buy it from a high street shop or a motorcycle warehouse type place, motorcycle accessory shop? Or should you go to the local flea market and buy a helmet there, from somebody who's trying to sell bike helmets on the cheap, or even trying to oversell them, whatever. Now the problem is, if you're buying them from unauthorized sellers, let's say, I want to be careful how I phrase that, but you know what I mean. Let's say a market trade or whatever. Well, you don't know if they're authorized. You don't know where they're getting their stock from. Is it coming in from some cheap import somewhere? You just don't know. So if you don't know where it's coming from, then they could be a fake. They could be a fake. Now, there are certain things, there are lots of things that I would buy that are fake, and I couldn't give a monkey's. If I wanted to buy my, a new man bag, for example, or if I wanted to buy, I don't know, a jumper, for example. To be honest with me, it wouldn't matter if it was fake, or if it turned out to be fake. I really wouldn't be that bothered. I'm not the kind of person who buys, branded goods for the sake of it, or fashion items anyway, as you might imagine. But if I was, for me, it wouldn't really matter so much. But in terms of safety equipment, in terms of a helmet, if you want it to perform when you really need it to perform, the last thing you want is to have something that is, fake and it's dodgy and it could break up on you, or not protect your noddle when you really need it to. So that's one thing. So I would kind of tend to stay away from the market traders who are selling this safety equipment, this motorcycle helmet. Second thing is, it really depends what they're selling. Okay, so if they're selling a branded, like I don't know, AGV or a shoe helmet or whatever it is, and you can see that is a proper helmet, it's got proper EN numbers, or for Europe, or kite mark, for the UK, or dot markings for the US, whatever. You've got a safety standard which it's gone through, then you might be inclined to do it. But then you've got to look at how cheap are they selling that helmet for. If a helmet should be £200 or £300, for example, and they're selling it for 50 quid, do you know what I mean? It's a bit dodgy, right? So you've got to look at that, so. But the one thing you could do, I would say, where to buy the helmet, go somewhere reputable. Yes, I know you might pay a little bit more, but at the end of the day, go to trade shows, whatever. If you want to really want, and you probably get a cheaper helmet there, or a lower price. Then look at the markings. Look at the EN numbers, for Europe. Look at the kite mark for the UK, the dot markings, whatever. Is it an official helmet? Has the manufacturer of that helmet put that helmet through a safety standard? Okay. Has it met the minimum standards, for that helmet? Well, if it has, then it is approved for the use on the road. So then it will offer you a certain amount of protection. Now, depending on different countries will have different standards, and they will allow, yes, that was granted. But whatever they're saying within that country, within that continent, they'll say these types of helmets, they have met a certain standard, therefore they're safe. So that's it. So that's something you've got to consider. Now, does one helmet necessarily mean it's going to be more safer than the other? Well, you can have a £500 helmet, and it won't be safer than a £70 helmet. In fact, it might even be less. Okay, it really depends. It first of all depends on the type of accident that you have. It depends on the speed of the impact, but also what the impact is with. All that kind of stuff. Is the helmet just gliding across the surface, making very narrow, very small impacts with the surface, or is it a hard impact? If it's a hard impact, doesn't matter what helmet you've got, the chances are you're going to have sustained really severe brain injuries, or even quite likely a fatality as well. But you've got a much better option, much better chance with a helmet than without a helmet. So as long as they pass that minimum safety standard as a manufacturer and as on that helmet, and it is an authentic helmet, then you say it's going to be safe enough to get onto the road and ride along. Okay, so this is not really about trying to protect yourself and everything. This is just about which is the best helmet, which is the safest helmet. They're all going to be about the same. Now, in terms of safety, some might be a little bit more, but we're talking fractional differences. Okay. The other thing is, which is the best helmet? Totally different question, and that really depends on you. It also depends on your, do you want an open face helmet? Do you want a closed face helmet? Do you want a flip helmet? That kind of thing. Now, the safest helmets are always going to be the full face helmets. Okay. The next ones down are going to be the flip helmets, and the next ones down from those are going to be the open face helmets. So you don't have any protection here. Once you've got, once you're going beyond that, in different parts of the world, they have sort of skull caps, and they might have all different variations. They're not really going to protect you that much, and you'll be living in cloud cuckoo land if you think they will. But anyway, so that's what you got to look at. What kind of protection do you want? What kind of riding you're going to do? And then in certain circumstances, you're only allowed to wear a certain type of helmet. So let's say if you're going motorcycle racing, you have to wear a full face helmet. Okay, it's as simple as that. You have to wear a full face helmet that meets certain specifications. That's it. So there you go. So they're going to be the safest in those terms. But each individual helmet or each type of helmet will have met a certain set of safety standards, and if they do, there we go, great. The best helmet really depends on your price, your budget, what how much wind noise you want, comfort. Is it really going to fit properly? And that's the key thing. Does any helmet really fit you properly? So there's lots of design, lots of expense, and lots of testing that goes into motorcycle helmets, and how they're the layers within them, and how they impact, how they resist impact, or how they absorb impact energy and everything like that. So you're paying for a certain amount of branding, you're paying for a certain amount of design, you're paying for noise resistance, you know, that kind of wind noise, road noise, that kind of thing. But you're also paying for a certain amount of safety that's put into the helmet. But look, you know, suffice to say, a good helmet bought from a reputable dealer that has got the, you know, the kite mark, the M mark, the DOT mark, you know, in the US, whatever it is, it's going to have, it's going to meet a certain standard. Then it comes down to personal choice, and that will be the best helmet for you, whatever design it is, you know. But I wouldn't say that the most expensive helmet is necessarily the best or the safest. Okay, that doesn't quite work in real life motorcycle accidents. You know, it really depends on the nature of the accident, which would really determine how effective or ineffective your helmet is going to be. And this is, I'll leave you with this. Any type of motorcycle or any protectors of equipment, whether it's a motorcycle helmet, whatever, they will protect you up to a certain point. They will reach a performance limit, and thereafter they won't protect you anymore. So this is what I always say. You know, you can have, you know, you can be dressed up, you know, as a knight of the realm, you know, and you can have 10-foot steel, you know, surrounding you. But there will come a point where that protection, that armor around you, will not protect you anymore. It might mean it will resist against, you know, fire, resist against bullets, resist against little grenades or something like that. But there will come a point where it won't resist anymore. It might be a nuclear bomb, whatever it is. But you get the point. What I'm saying is, there will be a certain level at which that, whatever protection you have, will not protect you anymore. It's exactly the same in protective equipment, in helmets. It depends. It depends on what kind of impact you're going to have. And at some point, it will reach a performance limit and it just won't protect. Either the helmet will fail itself and it will crack or deform, or the impact is so severe that actually you within it, you know, you're just going to fry yourself anyway. Bit of a sobering thought, really, isn't it? But I hope you've enjoyed this helmet. I hope you found it useful and informative. That's the most important thing. So please give it a like. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think as well. Subscribe and hit the notifications button as well. Anyway, catch you on the next video, whenever that is. Cheers now.